Hey besties, if you like the pod, please help us spread the word and reach some new heads to squat in. You can like and follow us on social media. All of our handles are the same, RFIMH podcast, or you can search Rent Free in My Head podcast. Share us with whoever you can, and please rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Music. It really does make a difference and help us get to some new listeners. Alright, I'll let you get back to your listening now. Enjoy! Alrighty, let's shoot. I don't think anything else can happen. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is one of us loses our
Way to
notes
fucking
and like.
jinx us. Fuck me. I don't know what I've done. Like I swear they're at home. I just don't know where. So shallow dives it is, besties.
Alright, well, let's get to it then. This will be an interesting ride for all of us, apparently.
Yep.
You are listening to
Love.
Rent Free in My Head, the podcast where we take the thoughts squatting in our brains and set them up with residence in yours, free of charge. Each week, Kirsten, well, I guess today she doesn't know what she's going to do, but usually she tells me a true crime.
And Jeremy apparently knows what to do every fucking week because he doesn't have the memory of a goldfish. And he, actually looks at his notes because he can find them and tells me a mystery.
Or just the unknown, because this week it's...
Yeah.
This week it's not a mystery, but it fits in the world of the unknown, so...
It's mysterious.
It is mysterious.
Oh my god, Jeremy, what a cool cooler you have though.
I know, I don't think I've ever seen a cooler.
I don't think I have either. Are you literally just drinking soju straight?
Yes.
Pop off, queen.
It's...
Damn,
It
girl.
tastes like watermelon.
Alright, so, as Jeremy obviously alluded to, I somehow have misplaced my fucking notes. I thought they were at home in my office. I got home, sat down in my office. They were not here.
No. Why would they be?
My other book of notes was, because that's where I thought I left it, Jeremy. You know what's probably going to be really dumb is I'm probably going to find it, like, the minute we get off a call. It's probably going to be somewhere stupid, like in my bedside table.
It won't even be the minute that we get off the call. It'll be the minute you finish your case and we take our break in between. You'll walk into another room and just be like, oh, there it is.
Literally, though.
Good news is you don't have to do notes for next week, so...
I know. Prepped and ready to go, mate.
Crushing the game.
So, for my super good preparedness next week, this week, we're just gonna do... We're gonna do some shower... I've been up since 5. Don't test me. Shallow dives into Florida crimes. Because let's be honest, Florida is like the weirdest fucking state in America. Like, I think the people there they're on crack.
Yeah.
They're on something. And I just also have only ever just looked at their flag right now because I was like, I wonder if their flag like depicts anything like cuckoo banana bread. Because you always hear stories about like fucking weird and wild shit coming out of Florida.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it's always, Florida man does this. And you're like, what is it? Y'all breathe them differently up in Florida.
Down.
Should I say, I was going to say I should say down, because I just looked at where it is on the map. That's my bad. Apparently their motto is in God we trust. Oh my god, lol, their nickname is the Sunshine State.
We're the Sunshine State.
We're the Sunshine State in Australia. Oh my god, does that mean that Queensland is the Florida of Australia?
Which state do you think would be the Florida of Australia? I mean, in sense of...
actually, Queensland fits.
In sense of, like, environment,
Nature.
Queensland tracks because, like, humid,
hot, sunny.
tropical, sunny, sunshine state. But I feel...
What you reckon in craziness? It's not us.
Yeah, I don't think...
Who do you think it is?
Well, I mean, Adelaide is pretty wackadoo, what with all the murder and shit, but I still don't
That's
think
just
it's them
murder.
either.
I don't think it's Adelaide. No one cares about Western Australia or South Australia, let's be honest, or really Northern Territory. Okay, let's be realistic. It's pretty much between us and New South Wales, if we're being entirely honest, because those are the only states that actually matter.
I was going to say maybe Tasmania.
I suppose. They're kind of like little left off to the bottom.
I don't think it would be Vic, no.
No, did you
Definitely
not see the video of the guy with the
machete?
Machete in
Yes.
the suburb I live in?
Yes, trying to
Bro!
get in someone's car, like on the side of the street.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see that.
I had that fucking video sent to me like 3 times. Fruity sent it to me and he's like, lock your door, girl. And I was like, babe, my dumbass is gonna die because I constantly forget to lock my doors when I get in my car. Constantly. They're always fucking unlocked. So, and I drive the route that he was on, like the road that he was on, that's my route to go to work every day. I drive that every day.
I mean...
From a fucking machete. From some crackhead walking around with a machete.
I guess Queensland probably is the...
Surely. Like, we're the Sunshine State. It fits. You and I live here. We're a bit cracker.
I'd say specifically, like, the Surfer's Paradise part of Queensland.
Oh, yes, actually, I just listened to a recent episode of Wine and Crime. And they did, I think it was a GAC. And Amanda was talking about some guy on the Gold Coast.
Ah, yes.
Who, he, like, ate all that seafood and then tried to swim away.
Yep.
Oh my god, that is totally Florida man.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I think it's us. I think it's Queensland.
So our Florida is the Gold Coast.
Literally.
Well,
no, because Florida is the state.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Okay. So
I'm gonna assume most of these Floridians are men as well. Simply
that's
because
a good assumption.
men. I reckon there'll be 1 or 2 women in there, though.
Ironically enough, the first one I'm going to read you is a woman.
Oh, there we go.
Which is fun. So, wait, let me just check when this article was published, so that makes sense. Okay. In September 2013, Pasco County police officers were called to a mobile home occupied by 45-year-old, I can't read apparently, what the fuck? Occupied by 45-year-old Cynthia Alexander after a neighbor saw Alexander and her 28-year-old daughter Stephanie fighting on the front lawn. Cynthia and Stephanie had had a disagreement over how best to keep their mobile home clean, which turned from a shouting match to a wrestling match to Cynthia discharging a stun gun in her daughter's face.
What?
Stephanie refused to press charges. The deputies did, however, charge Cynthia with aggravated domestic battery and told her to clean up her act. What the fuck?
It's funny, though, because the argument was about a mess, and they told her to clean up her act. But, like, what was the disagreement? One said, oh, we should...
It was probably just like, you're fucking messy. No, you're the messy cunt. No, it's you cunt. Fuck off. And then she was like, mate, it's fucking you. And then Cynthia was like, how fucking dare you? And then she shot her in the face. But my thing is, was they like just like wrestling and then she just all of a sudden pulls out a fucking like stun gun from her ass? Like, are you just like fucking, are you just walking around with a fucking stun gun? What's wrong with you, girl?
Maybe there was a stun gun like on the table nearby. Like they wrestled and then she's like, oh, I've
They're
had
on the front lawn.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe her handbag was
Did
like...
they go back?
Yeah, but like you've seen those things where they show like people who live in mobile homes, like how they have their little patio set up outside. Maybe her handbag was on the chair next to the little table. They've had their wrestling match in the mud. I'm going to assume that it's a mud wrestling match. And then...
Oh, no, Jell-O.
Oh, of course, it has to be
It is
Jell-O,
America,
yeah.
so it's Jell-O.
They've had their little Jell-O wrestling match. And then she's like, you know what, I've had enough of this. reaches for her purse and just pulls it out and goes, Zzz.
She's like, I win, bitch.
Great parenting too, by the way.
But also, like, why on her face? Like, why her face? Could you not have done, like, her titties? Or, like...
Maybe she's just a bad aimer.
I thought you were like, maybe she's just a bad mum. And I was like, maybe.
If
But if you taser your kid in the face, you're a fucking bad mum.
If you taser your kid full stop, you're a bad mum. Like, whether it's in the face or not.
Okay, but, like, that makes you extra shitty mum if you do that.
Yeah.
So, another one, which is fondly titled, Stay in the car, kids. Mummy has to make it rain. What do you think this is about?
Stay in the car, kids. Mummy has to make it rain. Florida woman charged with negligence while leaving her kids in the parked car outside her workplace while she strips.
So close.
Oh.
So close. Brandy Jo Roman, 29, just wanted to relax and have a good time at her favourite strip club, Mons Venus in Tampa Bay, on a quiet Tuesday night.
So she wasn't there to work. She was there to just...
She was there to watch. As she sat by the stage having a beer, she had pre-gamed with a can of malt liquor on the way to the club. Her good time was interrupted by a couple of Tampa's finest. Apparently, Roman couldn't find a babysitter on such short notice, so she left her 3-year-old daughter and 5-year-old son in the parking lot watching a movie in her pickup truck. Some concerned citizen ruined Roman's buzz by contacting the police, who arrested her on child neglect charges. Sadly, this isn't the first instance of police having to arrest parents while they're in the strip club and their kids are in the car.
Okay, kids, just sit and watch this movie while I go watch some lady take her clothes off. You'll be fine for a couple of hours, right?
Okay, look. I get it. A little bit. Like, wanting to go to a strip club, that part I get. Watching the ladies dance. It's nice. I went to one on the Gold Coast. Whew, there was this chick there, and I was like, girl, I think I'm a little bit in love with you. She had the nicest fucking lingerie, and I was like, is that Fenty lingerie? I kind of want to buy it.
The one I went to was also on the Gold Coast.
Maybe it's the same one.
And
I don't know where mine was.
I don't either.
I was drunk.
But
I wasn't drunk, I was drinking.
The same woman offered me a lap dance like 4 times, not picking up the hint as to why I said no. And then eventually I was like, oh, well, you know, if you get that guy behind the bar to do it, then sure. And she just looked at me and was like, what? Oh, you're one of those.
That's so embarrassing.
And walked away.
Damn, girl.
And then we did leave not long after because I ended up in a giggle fit because one of the dancers took her bra off and she had really long nipples.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
My experience is a lot nicer than that. But I don't think I would want to see titties that badly that I would leave my kid in the car.
No, probably not.
Like, at that point, just take them in with you.
At that point, just rent like a softcore porn. You don't have to, if you just want to see them like take their clothes off, you don't have to watch the full hardcore.
You know what? No, I got something better. Just fucking play GTA.
Yeah, there you go.
Go to a strip club. Go to a strip club in GTA. There you go. That way you can do it at home with your kids in the background.
Eat an edible. You can have a couple of drinks. Then you're fine to drink and drive. That's like the one instance where that's actually acceptable in video games.
Literally, though. Okay. Let's read out the next one. Again, I just love these little titles. CIA director, human orangutan hybrid. When police responded to a call about
What?
a man with a gun...
Is it just
CIA director, human-orangutan hybrid.
Is it just because he's a ranger? Like, do they not have them there?
We will get to it.
If you go to Florida, will you be confused as like a human orangutan hybrid?
Hybrid. I am. I'm a hybrid! They'll be like, I'm an orangutan / human. And I'll be like, hey, it's me. Okay. So, when police responded to a call about a man with a gun outside of a Wells Fargo bank in Naples, Florida, they were probably expecting a robbery. However, what they got was a 51-year-old Mark Leshker, I'm probably saying that wrong, I don't really care, who claimed to be the half-orangutan director of the CIA, talking on his mobile with the Fusion Center about getting more monkey blood. After police were finally able to get Mark to hang up and get out of his car, he claimed he was good friends with President Bush and that his brother was Elvis Presley. Despite his prestigious career and pedigree, Losha was brought up on charge. Oh my god, he actually was the fucking director. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Is he actually a fucking director? No. I'm sorry, it literally says despite his prestigious career and pedigree. Oh no, pedigree means animals. Okay, no, I'm just dumb. Losha was brought up on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I'm just going to really quickly check that he literally does not have any...
Orangutan in him?
He's not even fucking ginger.
Then wouldn't you be like, oh, I'm a human chimp hybrid, which I suppose is basically just a human.
Sorry, this is the second article I've just read about it. He's like, Elvis did have a twin brother, but he died at birth. The real CIA director is General David H. Petraeus. I like that they had to put that in there. They were like, just in case you actually thought this fucker was part of the CIA, which I did.
Yeah, I was just about to say, imagine believing that.
That would be so weird. Okay, every fucking photo I find of this cunt, it's blurry as fuck. But I'm still gonna send it to you because it's low-key funny.
Okay.
He looks like me when I first wake up in the morning.
He really does.
Me walking into work, I'm like... Hey.
What are you talking about, Kirsten? He's clearly half orangutan. Look at the orange. He's wearing orange.
Alright. Moving on.
Enough monkeying around.
Yeah, gosh. Couponing. With extreme prejudice. Walmart might have low prices, but they weren't low enough for Mary Alday, 61, who tried to use an online coupon to get $1 off her purchase in Crawfordville, Florida. When the blue-vested employee informed Alday that she couldn't use the coupon, the woman became enraged, barked a few choice words, and intentionally slammed her shopping cart into the worker. I love retail. Alday was escort... Okay, but also can we just appreciate that this is just adding to my theory that old people are the worst. Alday was escorted out of the store and reportedly warned the manager, if you follow me, I have something in my car for you. That something was a loaded Smith & Wesson 38 Special. After waving the handgun at employees that had gathered outside, she sped off only to be pulled over by police. What the fuck is wrong with America? Alday twice refused the deputy's request to get out of the car, repeating, I have a concealed weapons permit and you are not taking my gun. Cunt, that doesn't mean you can wave it at someone because they wouldn't give you a fucking $1 off.
What do you mean? That's exactly what it means.
Oh my god, lol, the last line of it. He is hoping that her lawyer accepts coupons. Okay, this guy, Rob Lamnell, who wrote this article, he saw the opportunity, he fucking took it. Man tries to outrun police on lawnmower. This is for sure something I can see happening in Queensland. We are definitely the Florida.
Yeah, we are the Florida of Australia. I don't know why I ever questioned it.
Yep. Okay, so in July, oh my god, this is this year. I do remember you saying this because you're the one who sent me this article. In July, a Florida police department posted an account of an unusual escape attempt on its Facebook page. A Holt man who jumped into a swamp, to avoid Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office deputies trying to serve him warrants last January was not as successful yesterday when he put a John Deere riding lawnmower into high gear and tried to outrun pursuing deputies. 40-year-old Dusty Mobley was tased by deputies chasing him while he tried to make a getaway on the lawnmower about 9:30 a.m. Saturday morning. What I would give... One local resident is quoted as saying, "What I would give to see the video of him on the lawnmower getting tased played to the Benny Hill theme." Fucking hell.
That just made me ask Google a question because I needed to know. So I just Googled worst getaway vehicles and I found an article from 2015 with the 6 worst getaway vehicles ever. Okay, I will send them to you.
Alright, I'm just really quickly going to read one more from the first listicle and then I'm going to take us out with the getaway vehicles one.
Okay.
Man steals crossbow by putting it down his pants.
What?
On February 6th, a Mims, Florida man was arrested and charged with stealing a large crossbow from a hardware store by trying to stuff it down his pants and cover it with his jacket. He was caught on surveillance video at the True Value hardware store and had difficulty escaping police because he was walking with a crutch.
But also, what kind of weird-ass junk does this guy have that he thinks he can just shove a crossbow down there and people won't notice the weird bulge?
This comes from County Sheriff Wayne Ivey. "Well, here's something you don't see every day. One of the world's dumbest criminals caught on video stuffing a crossbow down his pants. Believe it or not, he actually fled on foot when he observed Deputy Lindo, although, as you might imagine, after seeing the video, he didn't get very far. You just can't make this stuff up."
I was gonna make a joke about it being like on extra feet because he has crutches, but if he's on crutches, that would actually make him on less feet. Like he actually literally left on foot. Singular foot.
What a dickhead. I'm just really quickly seeing if I can find the original post on Facebook because I for sure want to see this gun running away with a fucking crossbow in his pants. Oh my god, it actually is the video! Fucking hell. Oh my god, this thing is huge! Oh my god, he actually has crutches. He has a crutch, like an actual crutch.
Oh my god.
This fucking crackhead. Mate, no. Oh my god. It's so obvious. Like, it's not even done well.
What in the hey? And it's grey sweatpants of all things, which are notorious for literally showing everything that's inside them.
Literally, though. Why do you think girls like them so much?
You don't... And he thought that he was going to get away with...
Literally, though, it's not hidden well at all. Oh my god. Okay. Stop. This is going to be like the dumbest fucking car I've ever seen. Like, holy shit, mate. Like, I thought it was going to be dumb, but it's the little, like, bit of white leg that we get to see as he's trying to, like, pull his pants up as well. He's like, yeah, my crutch will cover it if I just, like, close my jacket a little bit. Like, babe, no, that's not how that works. Alright, so 6 of the worst getaway vehicles ever. Coming in at number 1. What to do when you've crashed your grown-up car? Grab the nearest Power Wheels toy truck and max that baby out at 5 miles per hour. According to Kate TV, that is what an irate and very intoxicated Jamie Jeanette Kraft attempted to do on Sunday night in Jonesboro, Arkansas. After wrecking her car...
For context, that's 8 kilometers an hour.
Thank you. After wrecking her car, that I don't really care what it is, against the side of a mobile home, needless to say, the 29-year-old woman dressed tastefully in a white sweatshirt, no pants or shoes. And she was easily apprehended by the police.
I don't know how. Like, it's not like she stands out or anything.
No.
See, I feel like that would blend into a crowd so easily.
Number 2. In January at the Orland Square Mall in Glenwood, Florida, Wardeles L. Richmond attempted the quixotic... What the fuck kind of word is that? Quixotic? Why would I just say quick? What does that even mean? Oh, impractical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Impractical.
Unrealistic and impractical.
Okay, fine. Richmond
Why not say impractical?
Literally, though. Richmond attempted the quixotic feat of getaway via merry-go-round. What?
Does she realise that
Jesus
it go
fucking Christ.
round? It don't go away. It's not merry-go-away. It's merry-go-round. You're coming back to where you started.
Once confronted by security there, the man ran and jumped onto the merry-go-round, stepping off the ride when security would get on, and then getting back on when they would step off. What the fuck?
This sounds like I just hear the Benny Hill music at the same time, and
no,
it's like...
that literally says...
a sketch.
And then, apparently, they think he either got dizzy or he just was fucking over it, ran towards a Sears where he was apprehended by the police. Coming in at number 3. In October of last year, a drunken Swede, angry that a club in Malmo was closed for the night, created enough of a ruckus to attract the attention of several police officers. According to the local, he then jumped onto a Segway and rammed one of the police officers running over him. It should be noted that the Segway is also Justin Bieber's preferred method of escape.
Do Segways go that fast, though?
No, they really don't.
No, I didn't think so. It's just like the lazy man's walking, isn't it?
An electric scooter.
I mean, the electric scooters can go.
No.
Like, I nearly got taken out by one the other day. If I had stepped an inch to my right, he would have collected me. And of course, he had no helmet on as well.
Number 4. In 2008, Janus Jacob tried to smuggle 100,000 packets of cigarettes and tobacco worth around 450,000 across the Romanian border into the Ukraine. His vehicle of choice, you may ask? A horse and cart. In general, smugglers are becoming more and more sophisticated in their methods of getting contraband across the borders, but this case proved the exception to the rule, or proved the rule.
Yeah.
I think it's very sophisticated to have a horse-drawn carriage.
No. You don't want a vehicle that farts and shits. Especially not if you're downwind from it. Yeah, but you're inside you're inside the car when it farts, so the smell
it's farting all over the planet.
So's a horse.
That's an actual mess. Anyway, number 5. Bad idea. Trying to escape police on a pedal boat. Worse idea.
Doing it on land? Is it on land?
No. Trying to escape police on a pedal boat when you are afraid of water. He didn't have a shirt on and he was screaming like he was scared to death. I don't think he knew how to swim. The man, Christopher Schwamberger, tried to cross Lake Tarpon near Tampa Bay.
You said Schwamberger wrong?
Schwamberger.
Schwamberger, like hamburger.
I did. Oh, whatever, who cares?
I'm making a joke. I'm assuming
Oh. I was like, bitch, I don't fucking care about this cunt's last name.
I just like a good hamburger joke.
Schwam. It looks like Schwam there.
Oh no, it couldn't be Schwamburger because he wouldn't know how to schwam.
God, fucking don't do that. That's originally why I thought you were interrupting me to make a fucking swimming joke.
Sorry, dive back in.
Number 6 and last. While we usually approve of people utilising public transportation, perhaps right after you commit a crime is the wrong time to take the bus. In September 2012, Sacramento police responded to a call reporting suspicious-looking men carrying duffel bags. The cops found the 3 suspects waiting patiently for the city bus with the contents of a recently burglarized home in their bags. In the words of one of the Sacramento residents, criminals usually are idiots, and that's why most of them get caught. Thank you, random resident of Sacramento.
Couple of thoughts. Buses are really unreliable. Smart. Like, if anything, you're better off choosing a train. Trains are quite reliable.
I love trains. They're so much fun.
But, as well as that, like...
I just realised we're both wearing tie-dye shirts.
We are!
Sorry.
Public transport also has, like, cameras everywhere and very specific routes that it takes. Like, it goes the same way every time. Crazy, I know.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. That's wrong.
And also, what a brilliant example for you to end on. Simply because that is such a good segue into my case, which is about a bus.
Bum, bum, bum.
No, bus, not bum.
Bus. Yeah, it just doesn't have the same effect. I just realised I think I saw so much.
We both realised that at the same time. Don't lick it!
It's barbecue sauce.
It's also probably cat hair because you literally just had a cat in that exact spot.
No, it totally is.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And yet you keep going back for more. Girl, do they feed you at home?
No. I think I've just remembered where my book is.
Of course you did. Where is it?
I think it's in my work backpack. Fuck's sake, I hate myself.
Do you want to go check?
Yep.
Is it there?
Cool. Well, at least I have next week off.
I knew that you would find your notes the second we stopped your case.
I think you fucking jinxed me because I went to the bathroom and then I went to wash my hands and I was thinking about it more and I was like, where did I have it last? And then I was like, you dickhead, you took it to work so you could add more.
Fair. So, this urban legend I had heard of. I'd read the story before, like a long time ago, a few years back, and honestly I forgot about it. And then I came across it again the other week when I was looking into cases to cover for Halloween, when I was looking into Bloody Mary. And it's honestly been living rent-free in my head ever since. So...
Use the title.
For about 2 weeks now, and I was like, okay, I need to talk about this. This particular urban legend hails from Beijing in China.
Beijing?
Have you ever heard of the last bus to Fragrant Hills?
Oh, no.
No. Okay, good. I was hoping not. So, this particular urban legend is a ghost story. And from what I've read, ghosts or Gui,
Hey, that's a cool name.
that's
Chinese for
I'm
ghost.
hoping that I'm getting that right. I've purposely avoided, I think there's one other attempt at a Chinese word in my notes.
Yeah.
Gui I had to listen to like 8 times to even...
Me, anytime.
Yeah.
I have fucking anything. I literally sit there and I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got it. Then try and repeat it and still get it wrong.
So yeah, from what I have read, ghosts or Gui are quite prominent in Chinese folklore and their culture. And I just found out literally today while doing my notes that they actually have an annual ghost day and ghost month.
I feel like I've heard about that.
Well, you're about to hear a lot more about it because instead of me
Wow,
doing
crazy.
fun facts this week, I've just gone and grabbed some information about Ghost Month and Ghost Day. And obviously, I'm not an expert, as this is not my culture. So I'm literally just going off the information that I was able to find, and most of this whole chunk of my segment will be directly pulled from other sources, be direct quotes. They did seem a lot more reliable than me because, well, again, it's not my culture and I have no knowledge about this. But, as always, if I get something wrong, please just, reach out and let me know. And I'll do my best to fix it. So, this is from Chinesey.com, which I also saw the name and was like, I don't know if I can trust that. But I looked into it, and it actually appears to be an app, an award-winning app for learning Chinese in, an easy, simple way.
Okay, but I love that name then.
Yeah.
That's so fucking cute.
Because it's Chine Easy.
Chinesey.
It actually started out as a book, a mother was trying to get her kids to learn Chinese, and there was no easy way available for that. It started out as a book and flashcards, and then became an app in, I think, 2018, it said. It actually looks quite cool. I would be interested to give it a go myself, but then, don't really have a need to learn Chinese, and I was doing Italian lessons because, I directly have a reason in my life to learn Italian, and even then I kind of got really slack and stopped doing my Italian lessons 3 whole months ago, to the point where Duolingo has stopped even emailing me to be like, are you coming back, or... So, prob's not for me.
I really learn Arabic.
I really want to learn Italian, but apparently not enough. Anyway, the website for this app also has a blog, and this is from a blog post about Ghost Month. So, a lot of this is quotes. It's kind of separate quotes, but I've literally just grabbed it straight from the blog post. So it's not my words. In Chinese culture, the entire 7th month of the Chinese calendar, aka Ghost Month, is the month dedicated to the dead. Chinese people believe during the month that the ghosts of the deceased would come to visit the living world. And, in order to make peace with those spirits, special ceremonies are performed with offerings of food and drinks and even paper money for the spirits of the dead. They then go on to say, during the month, Chinese people pay their respects to the deceased by offering sacrifices, cooking elaborate meals, and burning papier-mâché of goods like clothes and gold. Clothes. Nailed it.
Good English.
And then furthermore, the 15th day of Ghost Month, aka Zhongguan Festival, which I also saw referred to as the Hungry Ghost Festival, is the most important day during Ghost Month. On the night of Zhongwan, Chinese people feast. I really hope that I'm saying that right. I listened to it a few times, and that is as close as I can get. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering that. Chinese people feast, and they would leave an empty chair around the table for the deceased in the family, treating the deceased as if they are still living.
That's cute.
Some places even offer Broadway style. We do the same within our family. This is kind of relevant given that yesterday is my family's version of Ghost Day, because it's also literally Halloween, but it's the day attached to a loved one dying. Anytime we do something in my dad's honor, we'll like leave a seat for him. There was a seat in the front row next to Mum and I at my sister's wedding that had reserved for and his photo on it.
Yeah.
So we also kind of that also kind of does get practiced within some Western culture, depending on the family. Yeah. But I do this is every year a whole festival where everyone, yeah, kind of like sound, like what I talked about last week, how they also had their specific day. It's maybe at some point I'll look into just days dedicated to the dead across cultures. I feel like that would be a really interesting topic to look into.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see everyone's different versions.
Yeah. Some places even offer Broadway-style entertainment to the wandering ghosts, as the Chinese believe that by pleasing spirits, they won't be harassed. So, the key thing to keep in mind here is that the lunar calendar is different to the Gregorian calendar. For us, the 7th month is always July, and it always runs from July 1st to July 31st. Whereas under the lunar calendar, obviously the dates and the months differ each year. Yeah. So this year in 2022, the 7th lunar month ran from July 29th to August 26th. This means that similarly to Easter for us, which is also tied to the moon, the Hungry Ghost Festival, I wasn't game enough to try saying that again, always occurs within a specific window of the year, but the date changes from year to year. So for us, Easter is sometime between late March to early May. It will always fit somewhere within that window. The Hungry Ghost Festival is the same. So this year it was the 12th of August. And next year in 2023, it will actually be the 30th of August.
Oh, okay.
So it's always the 15th day of the 7th lunar month. But that's not the same as saying the 15th of July. 15th, basically. Yeah. So the date changes, but its position in the calendar does not. Going back to Chinesey.com, during Ghost Month, for believers, there are certain no-nos to obey to avoid possible disturbance by ghosts. Those don'ts can even be categorized into personal and business levels. On a personal level, people would avoid getting married, as it may end up in divorce, moving house. To be fair, any marriage may end up in a divorce.
I was like,
I do
okay.
understand. I do understand connecting a certain, don't get married on the 13th because blah blah blah. And every culture, every belief, every person has their own specific belief about this day. Don't do that. this month, don't do that. It's the same as, on a personal level, people would avoid getting married as it may end up with a divorce, moving house as it may bring bad feng shui to the new place, or even going swimming as you may drown as water ghosts look for a replacement to take their place. And the business will be much less willing to sign important contracts or take risks when it comes to critical decision making. Some Chinese people believe that breaking those taboos will bring bad luck. I think drowning is pretty bad luck.
No, that's good luck.
Another website blog post about what things to avoid during Ghost Month that I found. This one came from Bria.com, which, if I read their About Us page correctly, appears to be a real estate or property management business based in China, like a pretty important one. That's what I could make out from their About Us page. I may be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, it was pretty clear that they had an idea about China because all of their properties are in that area. So, they said the following. It is highly advised to stay indoors at night, especially if you're feeling down or your chi is low, because those people with lower energy have higher chances of bumping into a ghost at night.
Cool, so I would constantly be near ghosts.
Probably. Your emotional mind makes you more vulnerable to being possessed by a spirit. If you're walking alone at night and you suddenly hear an unfamiliar voice calling after you, you should better keep on walking and avoid making any sound such as whistling, because they are highly attracted to the sound you'll make. Remember that they are roaming around for food and entertainment, so don't ever sing or hum for your own sake. We would both be fucked immediately.
Literally what I was saying. I was like, fuck me, I can't do anything.
Ghosts at this hour tend to be hostile. Well, I wouldn't even hear them calling to me because if I'm walking, I constantly have headphones in.
Yeah, literally there.
Ghosts at this hour tend to be hostile and will either possess you or cause you to feel sick. Okay, I feel sick at all hours, so, like, good for you. And you want to possess me? Enjoy my depression and my anxiety. It's not a fun place to be. You'll last, like, a whole minute, I bet.
Literally.
Also, children and pregnant people should not stay out late because spirits tend to go after young kids and fetuses. However, if you can't avoid going out late, then just avoid whistling since the spirits might think you're calling them. I can't whistle, so that works for me.
I can.
That's as good as I can do.
whistle.
That's as good as I can do. I'm literally just blowing air.
That's pretty much what whistling is, but sure.
They also said...
Breathe in and whistle too.
Nice flex, that's nice.
Thank you.
They also said, if you see something strange, like a coin lying on the ground, ignore it and just keep walking towards your destination. That coin is possibly owned by a ghost and placed on the ground to lure you, and they will be offended if you steal their money, so don't fall for any ghostly pranks. It is said that strange things are some ploy of the mischievous street... It is said that strange things are some ploy of the mischievous spirits to lure you, like placing coins on the ground so they can possess you if you touch one of their belongings. So that was the information that I found about Ghost Month and Ghost Day. I know that was quite a bit of information, and a lot of it was quoted text, which I do normally try and avoid being too heavy on. But in this case, I thought not only was it interesting to talk about, and important to talk about, I also figured that these sources and what they had to say about it was probably more reliable and accurate than me trying to like paraphrase my understanding of something from a foreign culture that I just learned about like less than 12 hours ago.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I thought it was really interesting too. I do actually want to learn more about it. I might look further into it later. I might also just hold on to the idea of looking into what kinds of celebrations different cultures have in regards to the dead. That fits under the unknown, I'm sure. I don't know.
In some way.
Yeah. So, as I said, this week I will be telling you the tale of The Last Bus to Fragrant Hills, which is an urban legend, and there are a couple of things worth noting here. This glass is dangerously empty. Firstly, given that it's an urban legend, there are a few variations of the story. But for the most part, they all follow the same storyline, so I'm pretty much just going to go with the version I came across the most. I'll mention bits where they differ anyway. Secondly, I tried looking into the origin of this story, because obviously everything has an origin. I could not find one.
Oh.
A lot of these tellings really make it seem like it's an actual true story. Like they mention the police and the news reporting on it and blah blah blah. I assumed that I would be like, I looked and I could not seem to find any news reports to match. However, I will mention that one blog post that I read about this story pointed out, and it's not incorrect, the government in China is notorious for censoring media, so that could be a factor.
Literally, though.
However, I am leaning more towards believing that it's just another urban legend that started from a spooky story due to the slight variations from telling to telling, which always happens with urban legends, and also the fact that nobody seems to agree on the bus route number. So I saw 375, I saw 302, I saw 330. One article listed a bunch of numbers starting with 3, saying that they'd seen all of these different versions. So, that also doesn't really bode in its favour. One thing every version did agree on, however, was the date. November 14th, 1995. They were all very specific that this occurred in November on 1995, or on November 14th, 1995, or in late 1995. So, like, every single one.
Either way, Kirsten was not born.
The world was a happier place.
The world was the worst place.
Sure. So, here goes. It is late at night on November 14th, 1995, and a young man boards a bus headed for Fragrant Hills. There is another name for it in Chinese. I'm not attempting it. Everywhere else just referred to it as Fragrant Hills. We're gonna go with Fragrant Hills.
There.
It was also the last bus for the night. Now, on this bus, there was a driver and a female conductor. I don't know why, but every version felt the need to specify that the conductor was a female. It's
Because
just...
women can't drive.
Well, it never specified if the driver was a man or not. It just said a driver and a female conductor.
Clearly because women are better at directing.
Maybe. I also don't know what the role of a conductor on a bus is, because here we only have a driver, and that's it.
Neither do I. I don't know either.
I'm also not sure how many passengers there were on the bus. In some versions, the young man got on at the same time as 3 other passengers, an old woman or man, depending on the version. We're going with an old woman. And a young couple. While in others, it just says that he boarded the bus and took his seat next to the old woman. Either way, one thing all versions agree on is that there is a young man and an old woman or man, and that they were seated close to each other, and there were at least a couple of other passengers. It's about as good as I could. We'll go with the young man, the old woman, and the young couple got on at the same time. Let's go with that one. I like that.
Okay.
And obviously, the young man and the old woman are sitting in close vicinity of each other. If not right next to each other, then a couple of seats away. That much we know. So, as they continue on with the journey through what was reportedly a quiet, remote area with no vehicles passing, the driver notices 2 shadows on the side of the road waving the bus down. Apparently, he was initially hesitant to stop for these people, as they weren't at an actual bus stop. They were just on the side of the road, between stops.
Fair.
They see the bus coming and they're like, oh, please, hello. The driver was originally not going to stop and considering just going straight through, but the conductor pointed out this was the last service for the night. So if they didn't stop for them, there wouldn't be another bus coming. And
if they didn't stop for them, they would still be here.
yeah. The driver pulled over and opened the door to let the 2 passengers onto the bus. But as the passengers boarded the bus, they were met with the unexpected. 3 men boarded the bus. The 2 figures that had initially been spotted were supporting a 3rd man between them. Kind of just had them... So they were standing on either side, and he was just kind of slumped over their shoulders like so.
Yeah. Kind of like Jesus.
Yes.
Just saying. So he was on the cross.
One comparison. His head was slumped forward, and his face was not visible through his long, messy hair.
I'm sorry, you don't want me to think it's Jesus, but he had long, messy hair.
These men were all reportedly wearing traditional robes from the Qing dynasty. And if you're not aware, the Qing dynasty ran from 1644 to 1911. They all also had noticeably pale faces. Significantly pale faces. Like, it was the only thing of note about them other than that they were in robes from the Qing dynasty. They did not interact with any of the passengers as they moved to sit at the back of the bus silently. Naturally, the other passengers on the bus were uneasy and found these men unsettling, but the conductor tried to calm them by offering a rational explanation for their appearance. Perhaps they were actors filming nearby and hadn't had a chance to change out of their costumes. Other versions also mentioned that maybe these actors went for drinks after work and forgot to change, and that the middleman had just had a few too many. Either way...
But they were being responsible adults.
This seemed to appease the other passengers, and the bus set back off on its quiet journey through the windy night. The old woman, however, was still unsettled, and kept periodically turning to glance behind her at the men in the back. As the bus continued its route through the night, the other passengers disembarked over time until only the 3 men at the back, the young man, and the old woman, who was still regularly glancing back at the men in unease, remained.
That's going to make the situation better.
Suddenly, the woman stood up and started accusing the young man of having stolen her purse. And she was making a big fuss about it. Yelling and...
What the fuck?
Yep. The young man argued back that he had not done such a thing. He also stood up, and the pair of them were yelling at each other. A quarrel developed between the two of them, and eventually the old woman insisted that she and the young man would be going straight to the police station to sort this out, and she told the driver to pull over at the next stop. The driver did, and the two disembarked the bus, not the boss. In one version, she practically dragged him off by the collar of his shirt.
Jesus.
After they got off the bus and it drove away, the old woman let out a sigh of relief, while the young man was annoyed and mad because he realized he had just gotten off the last bus at a stop that wasn't his, and there was no police station in sight. I also imagine that at this point he probably noticed that she had her purse after all, and was like, bitch, what the fuck's going on here? And when
both kicked off the bus for no reason.
When he asked her what this was all about, he's like, why did you say I stole your purse? Like, there's no police station here. Where are we supposed to be going? She simply told him, son, I just saved your life.
That's not ominous at all.
So, she said she'd been uncertain about the men from the moment they got on the bus, and in all her glancing back at them, she actually had observed something no one else had seen. She said that at one point, as she turned around, a breeze came through the window, catching the bottoms of their robes and revealing that the men had no legs. Those were not men. They were ghosts, she exclaimed. She had staged the argument as a means to get her and the young man to safety without making it obvious. So, the bus actually never returned to the station, and the next morning was reported missing. And every version of this tale...
like, I fucking know what it is.
Yeah. Every version of this tale that I read included there being a police investigation and the young man and old woman being interviewed in the news reports, which ran the following day, which is why... And they literally, like, one or two versions literally named a paper and, like, a news network that covered it, which is why I was like, oh, I might be able to find the origin for this story. But I guess it's just part of the story to explain the next part. So, as I said, the bus never returned to the station and was reported missing. And a couple of days later, this varied between 2 and 3 days. Either way, it's a couple of days. The bus was found in a reservoir, quite some distance from Fragrant Hills, about 100 kilometers or 62 miles. And inside the bus were 3...
naked people.
No. Were 3 badly decomposed bodies. Far more than they should have been given the time span even with the hot weather.
Sketchy.
Where do you think these bodies were seated?
In the passenger seats, no one was driving.
There is no Every seat other than the driver's seat on a bus is the passenger seat.
Exactly, Jeremy. No one's in the driver's seat. They're on the passenger seats.
Where were the ghosts sitting?
In the passenger seats.
In the back.
In the back of the passenger seat. I don't know why this is not making sense to you.
The bodies were those of the driver, the conductor, and an unidentified man with long, unkempt, messy hair.
Jesus!
So it wasn't the 3 men that had boarded the bus. The 2 that were holding him up weren't there. It was the driver and the conductor who had been alive 2-3 days prior, and this unidentified man, all of whom were way more decomposed than they should have been. Now, the story also then goes on to point out some mysteries or strange details about this part. Firstly, there wasn't enough petrol in the tank for the bus to have reached this reservoir. Some versions of the story also actually say that the tank was found to be full of blood instead of fuel. That they had found, we don't have enough gas to get there. Let's use our blood instead. I don't know many vehicles that can run on blood, let alone buses, but sure.
That would fuck your engine, but pop off.
Secondly, the severe decomposition, as I mentioned earlier. What? No. Secondly, the severe decomposition, as I mentioned. There we go. Got there at the end. One version went as far as to mention an autopsy being done and confirming there had been no meddling with the bodies. Thirdly, just about every version mentions the police inspecting the CCTV footage of the reservoir and not seeing the bus enter at any point. So, how did it get there? Again, little details like the autopsy and police reviewing CCTV footage made me think, there might be some truth to it, but they're probably literally just included in the story for the purpose of making it seem more real and true. Because, if you think about it, it's either that or you have the classic, the simple, classic, vague tale of, so this girl in my hometown, she was a senior when I was in middle school, and this girl in my hometown was babysitting, and she regularly babysat, but this one time she was babysitting, and she put the kids down to sleep, and then the phone started ringing, and the calls were coming from inside the house, and then she died. And the kids died too. And you're like, okay. Every town has that story. That's...
Yeah, everyone has that kind of folklore.
When you have those urban legends that are really vague, there's this house that if you go by it, bad stuff happens. It's like, okay, sure, I'm not going to believe it. But if you give me a story like this that has details like it was this bus route going to this specific destination, this is what happened, they did this, and then there was a police investigation and the reservoir was 1,000 kilometers away. I'm like, okay, that's it. That actually I could believe. Shit.
Alright, I'll give you some points for that.
But yeah, so that is the tale of the last bus to Fragrant Hills. I did also see someone mention a version where it wasn't that the 3 men were ghosts, but that it was actually 2 murderers and their victim. I actually think I actually think that that might have been the version that I first saw a few years ago, maybe even as a creepypasta. And in my reading, someone actually speculated that that may have been a real story and the origin for this urban legend. I also tried looking into that, but any variation of search for a bus murder or murder on a bus either brought me
really
back
hold
to,
up.
well, it either brought me back to this story or to the Greyhound bus murder, which is a whole different case in itself and a hectic one at that.
Did it happen in Australia? Because I've caught many a Greyhound bus in my life.
No, that's the one that I want to say Canada, or it was a Canadian. You know the case.
I don't know if I do, but it fucking sounds interesting and I'm gonna know it.
Yep, okay, Greyhound bus murders. I'm assuming I'm going to hear about that in 2 weeks' time.
I was about to be like, next week, Jeremy.
Yeah, so was I, and then I was like, oh wait, no. Unless you keep those for another week. But either way, that's me done. That's my urban legend about the last bus to Fragrant Hills, the ghost bus of Beijing.
Very interesting. I love that the little lady saved that other dude.
Yeah, she could have literally just saved herself.
She could have been like, oh, gotta go, bitches. Catch it on the flip side.
Rude that she just left the driver and conductor aboard, but like...
Okay, but like, she couldn't get them off without it
yeah, that kind of...
suspicious as fuck.
Yeah, that kind of would have rung alarm bells. Ring the fire alarm on a bus. Do buses have fire alarms? I don't think they do.
No.
Yeah, they'd have to.
Well, I mean, ours do, I think.
Yeah.
But America, they don't really seem to care about people that much.
China. It's China.
Oh, right,
it's Beijing.
Yeah, it's China. They're very efficient, so maybe they would. Sorry, I was thinking about mine. It was in Florida. You can send us an electronic letter at rfimhpodcast@gmail.com. Or if you want to give us a stalk on Instagram, it's at rfimhpodcast. Or if you want to go that extra mile in stalking, you do you, bestie, no judgment here. You can find Jeremy at
Jeremy Gage.
Or you can find me at So Kirsty Lee. We also have Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Fuck me dead, mate. If you just type in it rent-free in my head in Google, we'd probably pop up 1,000 times. But also,
the
besties...
handles on both YouTube, as of today, because I made sure to sign up and get it.
Oh, yeah, because we got to change it. That's right.
The handle on YouTube, as well as the handle on TikTok, are also RFIMH Podcast. We are getting better at using the TikTok. Just this weekend, we posted 2 videos. One of our...
Oh my god, Jeremy! We're getting better at using the TikTok. Mind you, I'd fallen asleep and Jeremy decided to figure out how to use the TikTok by himself.
When I say the TikTok,
so
I don't mean the TikTok as in the... use it... Using the TikTok, I meant like the TikTok profile.
I think you do. Okay, old man.
But if you want to see,
anyway,
if you want to see
definitely.
me really drunk, go there.
Please go to our TikTok and laugh at Jeremy and look at my excellent as fuck costume.
The handle on both of those is also now RFIMH Podcast, just for consistency's sake.
Because Jabba is a consistent little bitch.
He's consistently drunk as well, which you will see in that video.
It's very entertaining. I took a screenshot of it and made it my contact Jeremy. And it just brings me a lot of joy. Also, guys, fuck me dead, my nose is itchy. That wasn't the also.
Thanks for sharing. Is that everything? Goodbye.
No, well, I think we should tell people to fucking rate and review us on whatever the fuck you listen to us on.
Yes, I'm also
friends.
when I edit this tomorrow morning before this goes live tomorrow morning, I will also actually record like a little header at the intro just to really, if you guys can like, follow, share, review, rate anywhere that you can, we would greatly appreciate it. It really helps us. There's only so far that we can reach on our own.
Catch ya on the flip side, motherfuckers.
Thank you for letting us and our stories take up some space in your heads rent-free, because we're not paying. That's...
Yeah, fuck that, man. I got too many bills already.
Nah, that's not happening, besties. We're poor. Alright. Till next time.